Let's do a quick audit of personal finance. Where have we been and where are we going?
This is Make Better Wealth Decisions, a podcast about financial blind spots, decision-making, and how the reality of higher rates, global tensions, and tariff instability impact your investments. I'm your host, John DeGuy, a portfolio manager with Design Securities in Toronto.
On Thursday, we had a conversation with retired Globe and Mail columnist Rob Carrick, who is like treasure trove of information about what he has seen over the past almost 30 years as a personal finance columnist in a national newspaper. One of the things that we've realized, both Rob and I, we've seen that the industry has changed a great deal insofar as moving toward being more professional, more transparent, moving away from embedded compensation toward unbundled compensation, using lower cost products, and being more client focused and more financial planning focused. All of those are great things. Unfortunately, those things took perhaps 30 years and they should have taken 5 or 10. And as a result, one of the things that I think he and I would agree, and that you as a listener should understand, is that change is positive, but change is slow. And if you're eager to see things change, you might very well be disappointed, because although what you want might come, it might not come until your children need it, not when you need it. So literally, it takes a generation where it should take a few years to see positive change being affected in Canadian personal finance. And it should be obvious as to why that is. There are vested interests. People are fat and happy making money the old way. And usually any kind of a change which is consumer-centric is going to be having a negative impact on corporate profits. And as a result, corporate interests tend to resist those changes. And as a result, they occur grudgingly in stops and starts, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, that sort of thing. That should be something that you should be expecting for the future. But that said, having had a few victories in the past, what can we expect in the future? One of the things that we can all look forward to is total cost reporting. So starting in January of 2026, firms are going to be collecting how much you pay for your products. It's already been collected and reported for the past 3 or 4 years, how much you're paying for financial advice, how much your advisor is being paid, how much he or she is charging you, either through a commission or through a fee or some combination of those things. What has not been disclosed up until yet in writing in a consolidated basis at the end of the year statement is how much your products cost. So think of it as being parts and labor sold separately. If you go to a garage and you get a new muffler installed, you will have an itemized bill, which will say the muffler cost $150 and the labor to do the installation was $120. Here it is, $270 plus the taxes and fees and blah, blah, blah. And it comes out to a little over $300. You will know how much you paid for the product. You will know how much you paid for the services that were associated with that product and any other associated taxes and so forth. Starting in 2027, you will be getting the same sort of bill with regard to your financial advice. This is how much you paid for your advisor. That's already been on the bill for the past number of years. But starting in 2027, this is how much the products you're using actually cost you. Currently, you get it in your prospectus or in your fund facts. It will say how much the product costs as a percentage of assets, but no one actually takes the time, and computing power is required. But if it's 25 basis points, which is 0.25% on $100,000, that's going to be whatever that is, $250 a year. That's going to show up as a bill of you paid $250 a year for investing in this product, this fund, this ETF, what have you. So that's one example of how the industry is moving forward. And there will be other things coming along as well. All of this is very good for consumer interests. Consumers are going to be able to make better wealth decisions because they will have more information at their fingertips so they can compare apples to apples. And there will be more transparency, and transparency and disclosure is always good. So the good news is that although the changes are slow and hard to come by, they are coming, they are positive, and it's all going to be to your benefit.
This podcast is not to be construed as offering specific investment advice. Please consult a qualified advisor before acting. My books, Stand Up to the Financial Services Industry and Bullshift, are available online. If you'd like to meet to discuss how the topics in this podcast affect you directly, please visit my website.